A lot of people have changed their mind these past couple of weeks. If people underestimated the impact and everything, I can't do nothing about it. I'm not gonna. One thing I don't do is I'm not gonna beg nobody.
Girl, really?
All right, so Cardi B was talking about her up and coming album, Am I the Drama? And apparently some of the artists who are supposed to be on the album are now backing out. They don't want to be on Cardi's album. Check this out, like the video and subscribe.
I'm gonna say this one time and I'm gonna say everything because I don't know what the fuck. This album, just like a lot of people that don't like me underestimating this album, a lot of these artists are also underestimated this album too. I have gotten into calls. I have gotten out of my body because I'm very shy. I have hit people up. I have this and that. And people underestimating the impact. Well, a lot of people have changed their mind these past couple of weeks. If people underestimated the impact and everything, I can't do nothing about it. I'm not gonna. One thing I don't do is I'm not gonna beg nobody. So for y'all to be like complaining and like these are a lot of these artists that have gotten in it on this album, I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful because you'll be very fucking surprised. So and usually I will send people to ask, but even me have asked and everything. But one thing I don't do, I don't beg, baby. So a lot of y'all just doing too much, and it's just like calm the fuck down. Like it's already enough. Like it's already fucking enough. Like for real, calm the fuck down. If y'all wanted these artists on the fucking album, well maybe y'all should have called them, cause I did, and shit. If y'all wanted them so bad, y'all should have called them because I call them and everything. I can control people and everything. I let people underestimate me. Let them underestimate me. The next round is like, all right, just like Invasion of Privacy. Invasion of Privacy was the same way. This round is the same shit. So
All right, now that sounds like to me, Cardi is a little uncomfortable going to people and asking them to be on the album because I think in her mind, she thought people would be running up to her begging to be on this album. And to me, it sounds like it might have been a couple of features on the album that might have backed out. Not even just people not agreeing to do songs. And look, y'all know I loved Imaginary Players. I want to say it again. I love that song. I'm still banging that song, okay? But unfortunately, I think that song with some of the other singles that came out, it's kind of spooked a few artists away from her project, if you ask me, because everybody in media is saying, okay, Cardi ain't hot no more. We don't think this album is going to sell as much as we originally thought. A lot of people thought this album was going to do like, Drake type numbers. Then the singles come out. And unfortunately, no matter how much I liked Imaginary Players, it didn't really do much. And so that has people in media talking. And I think some of the artists hear that smoke and they like, hold on. If this album is a flop, I don't want to be a part of it. And also, maybe a couple of those features had shit to do with beefs. Because unfortunately, a lot of these females are beefing, and it might be certain people who don't want to get on Cardi's album because they don't want to look like they're going against Nicki Minaj. Maybe somebody like SZA, right? We saw SZA have that back and forth with Nicki, and she might feel like, well, if I hopped on Cardi's album, would it look like I was just doing this to be petty? So I think it's a couple of those type of situations going on too with this album. Now, Cardi did put out a feature list, and Cash Cobain is hot. Janet Jackson is a big get. I'm sure a lot of people would like to have Janet on their album. Kalani, Lizzo, Megan Thee Stallion, Selena Gomez, Summer Walker, Tyla. Look, Summer Walker is big. Okay, I like that. Good R&B feature. Megan Thee Stallion and Lizzo, I can see that. Kalani is another good one. I love Kalani. Is Kalani super duper hot? No, but I think Kalani and Cardi can make a good song. Cash Cobain, he's smoking right now. He's on fire. A lot of people like his song, so I think just the New York crowd alone is gonna fuck with that Cash Cobain feature. Janet Jackson is the huge draw. Not a lot of features. Maybe she's, holding off some features, keeping them secret. But just this right here, I think a lot of people would have liked to have seen maybe another legend on here, maybe a Mariah Carey, maybe a Usher. You know what I mean? It's been a long time since she put out this last album. But at the end of the day, you think about Mariah Carey. Mariah has worked with Nicki Minaj in the past. And that's my whole thing, man. Like, I hope these beefs aren't interrupting her album, And I hope it's some secret features that, she didn't put on this list that we'll be surprised when we see them come out. And I had to add this into the video. I'm sitting here editing and I'm thinking to myself, where's Glorilla? Where's Lotto? Where's the people that she did music with in the past? They don't even want to show up for I Am the Drama? And look, Glorilla, she's steaming when it comes to singles, but none of her albums have got super big commercial success. Same thing with Lotto. I would feel like this is an opportunity. And look, if I'm being honest, Lizzo, Megan Thee Stallion, and Tyler, they're kind of struggling right now. Let's just be real. And this will be a good look for them if they can actually get in the booth and make a good song with Cardi. So I think Lizzo, Meg, and Tyler, they're hoping for this album to be really good. But everybody else, it's like, okay, she got Cash Cobain, she got Janet Jackson, she got Kalani. Those features aren't going to be made or broken by this album, right? If this album isn't good, nobody's going to blame Janet. Nobody's going to blame Cash Cobain. Kalani is still going to have her base of people who love her R&B. Same thing with Summer Walker, right? These people, they don't have anything to lose. And that's the thing about hip hop, right? It's a lot of artists who are kind of big. If they jumped on this album, let's say if I was a little baby, and the album flop, people gonna say, well, Lil Baby been trash, so I don't know why she got Lil Baby on here. It's a lot of artists out there right now who got names, but they on the decline too. Da Baby, Little Baby, both the babies is damn near out of there, okay? Lil Baby talking about he might retire. It's a whole list of artists who we like, nigga, you on the clock. And unfortunately, people will say the same about Cardi. Also, I did see Cardi at the Jennifer Hudson show, and she announced the tour, but I want to give y'all this slow turn. Obviously, she's pregnant, okay? I heard it was a joke about her pretending like she was pregnant. Then she goes on this show and apparently announces a tour, and I know if I'm like the rest of the fan base, you being pregnant and going on tour, that doesn't excite me. I don't care about who the baby daddy is. I'm assuming it's Stefan Diggs, but at the end of the day, now look, also a lot of people who are knowledgeable about the record business and record companies and things of that nature, they've predicted that the record label is fed up with Cardi. Think about it. Every time she's about to work, or they need her to go on tour or do something for her album, she turns up pregnant. And at this point, I'm asking y'all, do y'all think Cardi does this on purpose? Like, is this some kind of thing she's doing to get back at her label? If I'm not mistaken, she's signed to Atlantic. I'm sure of that. I'm sure of it. So is she doing this because she's upset with Atlantic, or is this just Cardi being irresponsible? Because like I said, you going on tour with that big old belly, or even if you have the baby, you gonna rush back to do a tour? Like, how does this look? And the audience isn't dumb. We can tell when somebody up there tired, sweating, ankle swollen. This is when you got to give the girls who go on tour credit. This is when you got to give the Nickis and the Beyoncés and the Taylor Swifts credit, because when they go on tour, they go on tour. They ready to work. When Cardi does stuff like this, it just feels like I don't give a fuck. Or I made a whole bunch of money doing other shit, so this music thing is just a hobby. It's not a good look. And so, yeah, if I was Atlantic, I would be pissed off, and I would maybe be thinking about parting from her. Now, maybe it won't happen until the end of this tour, but we'll see after the end of the tour. If she's still on Atlantic after this tour ends, good for her. But to me, that depends on how successful this album is. If this album just blows up and it outsells all the girls, then she might be able to keep her deal, might be able to re-up on something. But if this album does, let's just say, in the Lotto Megan Thee Stallion realm, I don't think that's enough to save her. If I'm Atlantic, pregnant again, right before your album where you made fans wait how many years? When people are questioning, you know, how much do people still want this album? It's like a sequel 10 years later. Y'all tell me what y'all think about all of this. Are y'all excited for the Cardi B feature list? I want to see what Janet Jackson got. Like, what is Janet Jackson talking about in 2025? We'll see. Make sure y'all like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.